So, good morning everyone, once again. We are here with Kushagra Gour. We are here for an interview with him. He has an extensive knowledge in this field. You can check his profile and his like amazing things he did so far. I just shared you the link in the chat box. Hi Kushagra. Good morning. Uh,
Hello,
Finally
good morning.
here, still
Yeah,
in. So yeah. Uh, uh, okay, let's just start it. We are here for asking you questions, but we want people to know about you in your words. So yeah, please give us a small introduction about yourself.
okay, sure. Hey everyone, I'm glad to be here in front of you all. My name is Kushagra Gour. Professionally, I'm a front-end developer. Right now, I work as a front-end lead at a startup called Moonshot. It's a small team, but yeah, we are building some cool things there. But apart from that, I like to call myself a web artist, a web creator, because I just like to build things, and it's not all just like web. I like to do all sort of creative stuff, ranging from like sketching, painting, playing music, creating music, and all those things. But specifically, like web has been my passion ever since I started programming. I started out with games and stuff. So yeah, I built a lot of side projects. If you happen to see like some of them, like hin.css was a library I made a long time back when I started programming, which got a lot of traction on GitHub. It's an open source CSS only tooltip library. So from there, I just like went on creating side projects, a lot of side projects. Might have heard about a thing called CSS Battle. It's a CSS code golfing game that started like 3 years back. So yeah, I'm just like a web creator person. Yeah.
You do a lot of stuff, Kushagra. I have gone through your profile and like lot the website and everything. As you must say, the creativity it's like everywhere. It talks everywhere on your pages. So yeah, I'm really fascinated. Like how many things you do, how fascinated you are about all of them. So it's so great to meet you here.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same. Yeah, good to
Yeah,
meet you.
yeah. So as you know, like Rocket, we are hell-bent on creating a nice career start for the people who are from different, different backgrounds and from different tiers of colleges. It's not just about the academics. So I would like to start there only. I would like to know how academics played uh, how academics played a role in your career in the beginning. What do you suggest people about if they are from a different tiers of colleges? Yeah.
Mhm. Sure. So I am of the opinion that knowledge never gets waste. You might have heard that line a lot of times, but I've experienced it myself. So I'm a strong believer of that statement. Whatever you learn, even in like school, in college, whatever you learn, it might not get applied immediately. You might feel it's useless for what you want to do, for what your passion lies in, but in somewhere in the life, it does get used. Um, Even the subjects that we think are stupid in school, things like moral science, environment science, and all those things, they help you grow as a person. They help you gain awareness about your ecosystem, the place where you live, your environment. So all those things are very like useful to to have the right mindset in life to take better decisions. uh, Specifically about colleges, again, like a lot of you might be in college or like just came out of college, so there are things which you feel again are useless there. They actually are irrelevant, I would say. They are kind of like deprecated, which they teach us. But again, my opinion there is, uh, to make right decisions, to take best decisions in your life, to grow as a programmer, specifically, since we all are like developers, I believe here. So to make best decisions, we need to know what's right and what's wrong, what's relevant and what's not, what is trending these days and what has gone out of fashion. If you know both the parts, then only you can take the best decisions in your life. You can choose the right tech stack for your product, or right decisions or right architecture decisions for your thing that you're building. So in colleges, they are teaching the irrelevant stuff, the so-called bad stuff, the deprecated one, which are not useful these days. That is useful, as I said, because it teaches you what changed, what was there and what got evolved over time. But then you need to also focus a little bit on, like, equally on the stuff that is relevant today. If you teach Java, you should probably also teach something like Python, JavaScript, to so that people can appreciate the difference between the two. They can understand what the rationale is behind both the programming languages. You might in some case still have to use Java, so you should know there exists something like Java, and there might be instances where you might need to use JavaScript, or other some trendy stuff. So you should be aware about that also. But the sad part is, like, we only focus on the deprecated stuff in colleges, the old things, but the new stuff is not touched upon. So that I feel can be improved. But academics do help like a lot, not in short term. If not in short term, then of course in the long term.
Got it. Awesome. So, have you participated yourself in any hackathons when you were in the early stages? Like, have you participated in any hackathons, and how did you feel that added value to your career?
Mhm. Well, yeah. So I started programming with game development. I was creating games early on when I like was introduced to programming, starting with C++, then moved on to Flash. I heard there's a thing called Flash, and I was like totally hooked onto it when I tried it for the first time. So yeah, I was building games when I started. And if you folks have worked on games, you might have heard about a thing called Game Jam. Game Jam is similar concept like a hackathon in tech. Uh, you have like 24 hours to 72 hours to build a complete working, like, playable game. They call it Game Jam there. But it's a similar concept. So since I was building games, I was like a lot into game jams, online, offline. They used to happen a lot, like still happen a lot. So yeah, in that ways, I was participating in a lot of hackathons. And like I said, like I get a kick when I build things. So these hackathons really like get your focus on building things in a short duration of time. So you build a lot of things given a short duration of time. So that it was something I found I really like a lot. So I kept participating in them a lot. And then later when I moved professionally in front-end development, I went to these hackathons, just like we are having one at Rocket. So yeah, participated in them a lot too. Like, as for benefits of hackathon, like it teaches you a lot of things, I feel. It teaches you that time, like handling of time pressure, which we in our life, in a professional career, would sometime like face, definitely. So it teaches you how to do things, how to prioritize things when you have a short duration of time to finish it. And also, like, the approach you should take when building a product, because even if you don't have a time, you should always focus on what's important, what can get your product really functioning over a short, over a given duration of time. So that definitely is useful from hackathons. And in generally in hackathons, you work in teams. So that is also, you get to learn a lot. You need to coordinate with your team members. There's probably a team leader in your team, and you have to for a team leader, you have to you basically learn how to delegate tasks to your team members, and then like get it up into like evolve that into a functioning product in the end. So it definitely is useful.
Yeah, yeah. We started this with the same motive as well. It's not just like winning or getting into the finalists. It's not just that. We wanted to give, as you can see, this is our first hackathon ever. We wanted to give that experience to people who haven't participated in hackathon as well. So till now, so we were putting content relating to that only, like how important it is to explore this stuff. And once we get into this hackathons, I think there is no going back from here. So yeah, and what do you think, like the projects you have built apart from your college and apart from the hackathons, did they make any significant help during your career? I mean, in the beginning, while searching for a job, did they make any difference when you showed your projects to the interviewer? Was there any difference?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I would say like for any good job these days, degrees hardly matters. What experience you have, even that hardly matters. As long as, I mean, what is checked is what you can do today. So if you are able to work like a 5 year experienced person, then you are a 5 year experienced person. It's not about the time that you have spent on a particular domain or a field. It's about the knowledge you have gained in that particular domain, and it's possible to gain a 5 years of experience in maybe just uh, like 2 or 3 years, right? Because it depends on like how much determination and how much effort you are putting into that field. So yeah, it's basically the work that you do, the things that you create, which recruiters generally prefer these days, unless of course you are applying to there are of course companies which just see your resume, just see the degree, they have a requirement for a BTech degree and so on. But then they are sort of like mass recruiters. The work that you would do when you get into that company won't be like really beneficial to you. You won't grow there. So I'm not talking about those. But if you want to get into a good work, you should definitely like keep creating stuff, build a portfolio of yours. It's sort of a leverage. You might choose not to build a portfolio at all. You might choose not to have any open source project, not nothing, no app out there that you can show to others on a URL that this is something I built. You can choose not to do that. But then when you go to apply somewhere, you would have to go through all the processes because they have to somehow figure out that you can create stuff, right? If you're hired as a developer, you are required to build stuff, whatever domain you are applying to. So they need to figure out, the end goal is to figure out if you can do that efficiently in a team working with others. So if you don't build your portfolio, if you don't keep creating stuff, if you don't have anything to show apart from your resume and textual matter, they'll have to spend time figuring out. You'll have to grind through the processes, maybe some technical rounds, coding interviews, and I mean whatnot, other rounds. So that would be there. But you can build a leverage around, like leverage for you. You can make it easy for them to evaluate yourself by creating projects beforehand, by having a portfolio, by showing things like, okay, I can work on the front end. This is an app I have created alone, or maybe a team with a team member. I have participated in hackathons. You basically showcase that you can build things with others, right? That's what people want. So it makes things easier for the recruiter because they can easily evaluate based on the proof of work you have. And also it makes easy for you because now all you have to do is showcase your work to others. You don't have to get grinded through the like tough processes at companies. And also there's one more thing, like when you build stuff, when you build a portfolio, you have a website which has links to things you have built. It's out there. For example, my website is kushagra.dev. It's there on my Twitter profile, it's linked there, it's linked on my LinkedIn profile as well. So you necessarily don't have to approach people to give that link to show someone. There are recruiters out there who are looking for good people, right? So these days, like you might have heard both the perspective that there are no jobs, and then you might have heard that like recruiters are not finding good people. So I think it's just about the perspective. Both are true depending on like where you are standing. So people are trying to find good people, they're not getting it. They are looking into LinkedIn profiles, Twitter profiles. So if they see your link, they would see the stuff you have done. They immediately get an idea about what you can do, what you can possibly do and have done in the past. They will contact you based on the leverage that you created. It made it easy for you, right? You don't have to apply anymore. You will get like LinkedIn messages that, hey, we found your work really relevant and great for our company. Would you like to join us? And you straight away get to the talking part, right? So it's basically like making things easier for yourself and the recruiter. You may choose not to, but I would suggest why not? Why not make things easy for yourself?
And large in their luck area as well, not just luck, but getting opportunities the other way around. I think it's a huge thing nowadays as well, and that starts with us putting our work out there so that people can review that and they can approach us. Yeah, that's great. Great. Yeah. So this is one advice you are giving for the people who are just starting out. Are there any other practices and advices you would like to suggest to the people who are like just starting out?
Hmm. Well, yeah, of course, this is one. Keep building stuff. I would recommend building a portfolio. It's good for you. And also, it's not about just like getting jobs or getting like recruiters to contact you. It's about upskilling as well. When you build stuff, it teaches you a lot of things. Everything that you build upskills you, it levels you up. So it's important for you also. It's about like working. You can give 5 years of your time to a professional company, like working professionally for a company, but then you could spend also 4 years in your BTech while creating portfolio, while working on side projects and while learning things, right? So it's not just the company where you have to work and level yourself. You can also on your own time do the similar stuff. You can work with your friends on something that you like, on whatever domain you like, and upskill yourself. So yeah, I mean, keep building things. Apart from that, like if you're just starting, like try to focus on your basics. I mean, of course, like if you're starting with let's say front end, React is something which is very common out there. So learn that also. But on the side, try to focus on the basics also. Try to learn things from the scratch, step by step. Focus on HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Like I'm just talking about the front end because like that's what I have expertise in. But whatever field you are in, try to focus on the basics also, because that will get you far. React might, if you just learn React, it might get you a job quickly, but then to level up, you need to do learning and understanding of the core parts of the basic things on your own, or at job, whatever. You have to spend time on that to actually level yourself, because that will help you eventually when you like transition into a senior developer or a more architectural role. So focus on that. And also focus on your productivity. Like be self-aware about how do you like to work, when do you like to work, when do you not like to work, what kind of distractions affect you the most. Try to fix them over time. It doesn't have to be like you are like an efficient developer from the day one, but be self-aware. That's what I like to suggest when you're starting. uh, keep making notes, like I tend to do this thing wrong, or I tend to spend a lot of time on particular thing, I should spend less time. Or some things I always make mistakes in, I tend to procrastinate a lot. Make notes of these so that you are actually self-aware. And then over time, if you, the first step is like being self-aware, knowing about the problems that you have, and then over time you can read material, like talk to other people and try to solve them actually. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So, are there any challenges? I mean, there would definitely be like challenges when you're starting out. So, are there any setbacks that you look upon right now and see them as an advantage, actually, like they turned out to be an advantage? Are there any setbacks
Mhm.
such in your starting of the career?
Uh, like honestly, I've been fortunate enough to not have a lot of setbacks. I've been always like doing what I like to do. I wanted to build games. I started building games. I wanted to get into web. I got into web. I have not worked at a lot of companies. I'm in my second company. Right out of the college, I worked 7 years in a company, and then right now I'm in my second company. So I haven't like applied to a lot of companies or hopped on and seen setbacks there. So nothing of that sort. But there's just like one thing that I would like to speak about. I personally didn't see it as a setback back then, not even now. But I know there are a lot of people, a lot of like new students who might feel that's a setback. So it's good to point out, I think. So it was like at the time of entrance exams right after college. I also gave like JE, which is for IITs, like we all do. And I actually got into IIT, but I was getting chemical engineering there. And I always knew that my passion lies in computer science. I had been doing computer stuff in my college, even like from the school time. So that's what I wanted to do. I knew. So I like chose to not go into IIT for chemical engineering, and instead I went to a college which was near my home, and I got computer science there. So it might look as a setback that you couldn't go into IIT, or you did not get your choice of subject in IIT, and you had have to like compromise on a lower grade college. But the thing is, like, because it was near my home, I could save time on the commute stuff and all those things. I could go whenever, because it was like not a very big college, or not a very it was a low tier college. So there was no what do you say, like, strict rules around attendance and all those things. So that also gave me a leverage that I can now choose to go whenever I want to, and rather have spent time on like upskilling myself, learning things I do, maybe attending hackathons here and there. So all those things I could do because of that. And also because now I was not learning a subject that I hate learning. Because when you do a work that you don't like to, it feels like work. It looks like you have to put extra effort, you have to like put your brain overhead into that. But when you do something that you like, it doesn't feel like a work, right? You might have like felt that. So because now I was not into chemical engineering, I was into computer engineering, which I already like. So didn't feel as like a work. My 4 years at college like just passed like in a fun way. I didn't have to spend time understanding things like which I don't like to. So it doesn't feel like work. All it felt like I was learning, I was upskilling, I was getting ready for building things. That's all. While having the fun you have at colleges. So it turned out to be an advantage, I would say, because of the factors that I mentioned. I was finally able to have a good balance over my studies, and also spend time in doing things that I used to do. Like I mentioned, I was building games a lot in my college time. So I used to attend hackathon, game jams, and build games a lot. So I was able to do that, and I think that worked out well. It leveled me up.
Awesome, awesome. We would want to know, like, what is that one thing that you learned out of experience from the past, and you are going to carry it from any point in the life from here on in the career?
Mhm. I would say like it would be the same thing I said earlier. Focus on basics first of all. Like new things, trendy things would keep coming and keep going. Things would change rapidly. Even so, in the web development space, things are very fast paced. They keep moving. But if you try to focus a lot on your basics, if you try to have them clear, you would always be relevant. You would never feel that uh, I am not able to catch up with the train, or I don't know stuff that is out there. You won't get that feeling, because when you know the basics, first of all, you would always be required uh, at like companies at some level, because you can like think in terms of core stuff. You can build those architectures which require core understanding, right? One is that. And of course, like when you have your basics clear, you can take up things, you can learn up whatever is coming at that point very easily. If you know JavaScript very well, learning React is not a big thing, right? If you know the concepts of networking and web development, if you know how networks go, requests, and all those things, you can understand any concept which is happening in like server side rendering or whatever in React or any other framework. So basically, it's easy to catch up on the trendy stuff if you know the core stuff. So focus on that throughout your life. It's not that when you're starting you need to learn basics. Basics, or for that matter, anything that you learn, it needs to be revised regularly. Otherwise, you'll lose touch of it. So keep uh, reading about it throughout your life. Keep building things. That's of course like one more thing. If you don't practice what you learn, you lose it again. You won't retain it. So keep building things throughout your life. And as I said before, keep a check on your efficiency, on your productivity. Don't lose track of that. Like early in your career, or like even after years of experience, I have seen people who don't really um, care about like how they are typing, or how they are uh, for that matter, speaking or writing any like tech or normal spec sheets, or maybe whatever you do as a day job, you need to be self-aware about it, because only then you can improve over time. And if you keep doing the things the way you are doing it today, you will stay the person you are today, and we don't want that, right? We want to level up, we want to upskill, we want to grow. So the only way for doing that is to know how you do things and then make them better, whatever you do. Yep.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. That's true. We just get carried away in the field of like getting into stuff, and we'll be like waiting at this stage, is searching for the opportunities. We'll be just waiting. So it feels like forever sometimes, and we won't get that motivation to be there. But I think, as you're suggesting, it's like paying attention and be aware of what we are doing and what we can do better from our end, irrespective of what we are getting back. So yeah, that's a great one. Is there anything that you learned the hard way? I mean, you didn't pay attention to it early in the career, and you had to learn it the hard way because you ignored it at that time, and it plays a significant role now in the life. Is there any such thing?
Mm. Yeah, there are actually like two things. One actually, like I could have mentioned in like what you should focus on in your career, but yeah, it applies here as well. One is about so the most important thing that I now realize is when you're working in a team is building trust. If you are a programmer, if you are a software developer, a software tester, a product manager, whatever you are, your job is to basically build trust with your colleagues, with your manager, with whoever is working with you, because that is what makes you a good teammate, right? A good colleague. If someone gives you a job, let's say you have to write this component, and you are asked when would you finish it, uh, and you say, let's say by Monday. If you don't finish it by Monday, if you keep doing that similar things, when you don't finish stuff by the deadline you set, which you communicated, you basically slowly lose trust of others, right? They tend to now they will keep uh, seeing these things, noticing these things, and slowly, involuntary, you will create an impression about you that whatever work you are given, you don't do it on time, right? And it's not about just deadlines. It's about like what you say you should ideally do it. If you don't do it, there should be some to and fro or a feedback or a communication that is always there. It basically shows like how much you are determined and like focused on your work, how much you care about other people giving you stuff to do, how much you care about them not running behind you to figure out like uh, ये हो गया क्या, कब तक होगा, क्या इसका update क्या है, like these things create a bad impression about you. It should not be someone who asks you ki, hey, it's Monday, what about it? If you're not able to do, that's fine, but it should be you who says, hey, I think I'll not be able to do it by Monday, and hence these are the next steps. Maybe I like to postpone the deadline, or maybe I like to reduce the scope of the work, or maybe I'll need help of another team member. It should be you who shows that you care about your work and you care about other people's brain power spending on your work, right? So for build trust, it's something I realized late in my career. I never paid attention to that, but after some years, when I actually got people working under me, like with me, my reportees, I realized like that's important. If I ask someone to do something, I need some kind of update, right? I don't care about like finishing things on deadlines. Deadlines are shitty. They are just like guess lines. But I need communication. I want to talk with people. I want to understand what problem they are facing. If they are blocked on something, you should be able to communicate that to me on time, right? Don't finish the work on time. Just like communicate on time. That's important. So build trust. That's the most important thing. And other thing, maintain like it's again a suggestion around productivity, around things you do, and around also building trust. The best way you can build trust is maintain a to do for yourself. if you think my memory is good enough to remember things, and I can just like keep doing things one after another and I'll finish things on time, uh, you are wrong. Probably, like most probably you are wrong. If you don't maintain a list somewhere, it doesn't have to be a physical list, it doesn't have to be a paper, it can be anywhere, any software you like, any tool you like. But if you don't have a list which you can see, a tangible thing that you can see in front of yourself, that these are the things I have to do, at some point you will lose track. At some point you will either procrastinate or feel worried about so many things going on in my mind. I haven't like finished either of them. What am I doing? There are a lot of issues that will come if you don't have a list in front of you. So it's a suggestion around productivity: maintain a to-do list, break things into smaller tasks that will give you confidence, that will give you like momentum. So yeah, always have that.
Yeah, the build the trust thing is like so true. I have seen it myself in the starting stages itself. Luckily, I learned that in my college itself, being being in the part of like so many clubs and being in the lead role, I could feel that I know that how important is that. It's just people need to feel that, yeah, if I give him any task, I know that it will get done, or at least he will make sure like how extent it will be done, and he will get back to me. The initiative is on him. I don't have to be the pusher here. He can independently handle this. I think that is like taking responsibility of things. That is like a huge thing that differs from every employee to the one of the one employee who the manager goes to when things goes wrong. So he that building the trust part is like so true. Thanks for bringing it up. Yeah.
I mean, someone like, if you ask me how to become a good developer, how to become a good teammate, there's just one thing I would like suggest: build trust. And like very specifically, make sure someone never has to ask you what's the update. Just make sure this one thing, and you will be way above others working alongside you. You will be like one of the best. Just make sure that one thing.
True, true. Noted. Thanks for that. So yeah, and then coming to the next question. So you are on hiring end as well. So what are the suggestions? Are like what are the things you actually see for hiring in junior developers of one who are like freshers, being on the
Mhm.
hiring end? What do you search for in the junior developers you want to hire?
Okay. Um, so yeah, like since it's about evaluating people who are just starting out, experience and all don't matter a lot. What matters is, like, first of all, communication. When you're working in a team, that's the most important thing. Your verbal communication, your way of speaking, your way of understanding. Communication is just not about just delivering, but if you ask someone a question, they should be able to understand it. So verbal written communication is there. That's one of the most important thing that I like to personally see. And apart from that, like show some kind of like dedication in your application whenever you apply somewhere. And by dedication, I mean, again, it's about reducing effort of others, reducing the effort of a recruiter who is going through your application. So avoid typos, because typos create an overhead for someone who's reading your application, right? Show dedication, that you have spent time on your cover letter, for example, going over it 3-4 times to make sure that it's grammatically correct, and other stuffs are like sorted. It's clear enough to understand, it's simple. Dedication can mean like also like things like, don't share a GitHub profile which has nothing in it, or just maybe a tutorial that you did once and it just has one HTML file there. Because someone will see that link in your resume, they'll go to your GitHub profile and find an empty profile then, and have a bad impression about you. So first of all, it created a bad impression because you shared a thing which is meaningless, and secondly, you wasted time of the recruiter, which has had to go to that GitHub link and then come back to realize there's nothing there. So that's one of the thing, that how you can show dedication towards your application. Don't have a generic copied letter, all those things. So that's there. and have your basics clear. Again, since it's not about like hi-fi things or whatever trending stuff is out there. I personally, for example, if I we use React at work too, but I don't care if the person knows React or not. All I want is they should know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, at least the basics of it, because I know if you know that, you can learn it. And I have seen people learning it in the interview process itself. So we have a coding test round where you have to work on a small React app. Uh, and it's not a requirement to have React. To know React beforehand. If you don't know, we give them time to learn React first of all. If you are clear on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, the web basics, you can learn it easily to do at least the stuff you're required to do in the coding assignment. So you're given time to learn that, and then you work on the assignment, and then you have to finish it and submit it. Right. So that's there. Have a focus on your basics. That's what I tend to look personally. Um, yeah, mostly that. And so after coding assignment, we have an interview session where we discuss about a problem. So again, for someone who is just starting with a career, we don't want problem solving abilities that much compared to how you approach the problem. You should not be like sitting idle and just like wondering about the problem in your head. You should be able to speak out loud what you're thinking, and you should be continuously thinking about the different ways how you can approach the problem. It's okay to be wrong on every approach as long as you're iterating. If not this, then this. If not this, then this. If not this, then this. Keep making mistakes, but you shouldn't be like completely blank or just like out of clue what to do or what to even think or speak about that problem. So yeah, these things like really matter and are kind of like must-haves for a junior role.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, in the discussions, as you're telling, like letting people know the idea, whether it's like completely a fair one, the perfect one, people tend to see that I should be like discussing about this only if I have like so many facts in line. But it's about like actually putting the idea out so that people can get into the discussion about it. So yeah, that's true. Communications and being part of interpreting the idea and getting people to know what you think about it is like a very huge thing. That's
Mhm.
again comes under like initiative stuff. You show the initiative that you're trying to solve the problem, irrespective of like going into the solution. You are just trying your
Mhm.
best. That shows that. Yeah, that's great. That's
Mhm.
so coming to the senior developers, being at the hiring end, what do you see in the senior developers and what do you suggest for them?
Of course, the thing that I mentioned for a junior developer that stays, we need all those stuff. But additional to that, there are like things like I said, for a junior role, problem solving abilities is not that much important compared to problem approach abilities. For a senior role, we would consider solving abilities as well. You should be able to think to approaches, but then you should be able to derive at solutions, right? Because you need to, at a senior position, you need to design architectures, you need to come up with solutions. So that should definitely be there. So that's what we look at on, sorry, other things, more on the like tech side. uh, we have like very objective criterias at Pushall, for example. We evaluate people on like their refactoring skills. For example, we give the same coding assignment at both the like whatever the experience level is, we give the same assignment. But then what we have as parameters to judge candidates on, that differs, or the must-haves change and the good-to-haves change. So refactoring becomes an important part. How well are you able to refactor the code? If you don't refactor at all, or are you spending time or like making suggestions to move the code around and make it better? Things around naming, that's a very important thing. It's one of the thing, like you might have heard, naming is very difficult problem in computer science. And you can have guidelines around it, but if you don't have that mindset, that thought process you put behind naming, it's very difficult to teach over time. So that's one important thing that we have, like one important parameter that we have. It shows basically like how much you care about your code. because if you write code with bad naming, you are making life worse for other your teammates, your colleagues, right? Whoever comes in later and sees that code. So it's about not about just like a tech parameter. It's about how much you care about others and the stuff that you do. So that's there. And what else? Yeah, I mean, these majorly like some additional tech stuff and how much you care about stuff. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for that. Coming regarding the hackathon here, as you can see, there are people who are working on it. They are from different levels of the experience, and
Mhm.
but basically are in the starting stage. So we just want to know, like, what are you expecting from the hackathon, and what do you suggest for the participants to gain throughout the hackathon?
Um, the expectation wise, I'm looking forward to like innovative executions. Um, like just seeing others creating and building stuff, that is something like I am super excited about. That gives me a kick, like build myself and seeing others build stuff. So that's what I'm like looking forward to. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what the expectation. Yeah, I just like want to see like how people are solving problems in different ways.
Like being in a hackathon perspective, do you suggest anything like time framing or worrying about any one stuff they shouldn't be like into too much, which there are so many elements in the hackathon that should keep running the product to be out as a productive stuff, right? So what do you
Mhm.
suggest from that end?
Uh, the most important thing I would like to suggest for a hackathon is specifically because you have like small duration of time, you have time crunch. Uh, Focus on having a working thing as much as you can. Like every other interval, try to have a working thing. You might break things in between, then but try to patch it up so that you have a working thing again after 2 3 hours. Don't leave broken stuff for long, because you might run out of time and then realize, okay, we left those stuff and they were the critical parts, and now your whole thing is not working. It's just like an idea. And it's also like not just for hackathons where you have very short duration of time. It's true for whatever you do in life later, also in your career. Always focus on building things in layers. Don't try to build things in parts, like just focusing on one thing. We'll build the front end, we'll polish it, we'll make it perfect, and then start working on the back end. Then we'll try to integrate it. Try to have the minimum stuff in the front end, try to have the minimum core stuff in the back end. Try to integrate them as soon as possible so that things are working. So even if you don't do the polishing, if you don't do the rest of the good to haves in your product, you'll still have something to show to the I mean, show to others, and they can actually use it and gain some value, whatever value is possible from that core stuff, from the minimum stuff. They can use it and like gain some value. So focus on the MVP, the minimum viable product. Build in layers. Don't focus on specific small things, and integration. Don't leave integration to the end. Try to have it while you're working during the hackathon.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. The At the end, what everyone would like to see is like how far is the working prototype is, like how well it is to open and like check it out. How far it is like working if we are clicking around few buttons, and is it doing supposed what it's supposed to do. So yeah, keeping it intact without any broken connections and everything, making sure that it works however far it is built. However far it is built, it is like a working prototype anyone can open and like go through. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, Kushagra, thank you so much. These are the questions we have. Thank you so much for addressing all of them very patiently. The one huge thing being from the team Rocket, I like is you, as you said, you didn't see that as a setback, which is coming from different colleges, from different backgrounds. It's just about us approaching it and differently, taking our initiative to upgrade our skills and be on our track, irrespective of what our colleges throw or like what our academics or any past thing throws. It's being on track and iterating every time, what am I doing, where do I want to go. That's a huge takeaway, I guess. And for the interview perspectives, it's about like building trust and connections, not just interview, I mean, in the for the anyone who is in the beginning of their careers, how they need to like approach stuff is to be attentive, be initiative, be responsible. That is one another huge thing I really loved. And for the interviews as well, everyone are here like, I have this much of experience, I can do this stuff, but I am not getting any opportunity. But I don't think that's the case anymore. It's just putting out the stuff we have, and people will definitely come to that if they see the things you build. So it's on us in the first step to build stuff and put it out there. That is another takeaway. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for pointing all of this stuff.
No, thank you for inviting me. I would be glad if I am able to help anyone in any aspect. Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Coming to that, so guys, we are up for Q&A. Anyone wants to talk about their ideas? Anyone have any blockers, not just in the hackathon, but in any idea you have? This is the time to ask. Please raise your hand and you can start interacting. Okay, I think everyone are so busy in building their stuff. Just thinking about that, even then. Okay, I don't see any raising hands. That's okay. I think it's just them being froze regarding the things they're going through for the next couple of days, today and tomorrow. Oh, Harshna is here. Yeah, Harshna, go on.
Good morning, Kushagra. Good morning, Sahibi.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not about any doubt that I had. It's more like this is the first time I'm doing a hackathon. So, I was very confused about the approach, how to plan things out, and how to proceed further. Like, I got some idea when you were talking just now, but can you please go in detail about that?
Like approaching the problem
Yeah,
in a
like
hackathon.
how to choose a problem, how to make the approach, like, and how to go step by step.
Mhm. Okay. I would say so. There are two things. First, selecting a problem and then solutioning it, fixing it, like implementing the actual stuff. I would say don't spend too much time on thinking on how to build. Uh, Spend time on thinking what to build, as in like the actual problem that you want to choose. It should be important. It should provide value. It should be a genuine problem. First of all, people should be facing it. Uh, don't try to like prefer actual practical problems over something that you think might be a problem. So it's better to actually work on something that you yourself face, because you are then sure that there's at least one person who's facing, which is you. And it's never the case that one problem is faced by just one person. If you're facing it, multiple thousands others will be facing it. So try to focus on try to pick a practical problem first of all. When I said don't focus a lot on how to build things, I mean don't try to think what would be a good tech stack. Pick the language you are most familiar with. Pick the language you are most like you have the you can work the fastest with. You have speed on that. Pick the framework that you have worked before with. Don't try to like overthink about what would be the best for this product. Should I pick React or Vue? Should I like store in the local storage or store on Firebase? Don't think about that. Pick the fastest thing that you can do. Create a working prototype, even with the local storage. If it's working, if your product is working with that, it is fine. It should be working. When you are on a base level, when everything is working, everything is integrated, try to evolve stuff. Like maybe your app is too slow, you won't hit performance issues for a small thing in a hackathon. But just an example, like if after everything is working, you have performance issues, try to fix that. After everything is working, now you can choose, let me move local storage to maybe some database remotely. So try to fix those things later, but try to get things running up as quickly as possible, as hackishly as possible. It's called hackathon for a reason, right? You don't have to do the things the right way, you have to do things the fastest way, the most hackish way you can think of. Just make mess, create a working thing for someone who's going to use at the end, right? It should be working. They won't care if your code is messy, if your code quality is bad. All those things don't matter in a hackathon. It's about you learning things while you do, and then creating value out of it at the end, whatever, how much you can create.
Yeah. Regarding that, when we were discussing Kushagra regarding the evaluation criteria, even I thought like we should have a clean code thing, but then we are like, this is a hackathon for a reason. Exactly, it's just you make whatever it takes. It doesn't matter if there is like any overlay or like duplications, anything. It just needs to work. No one is going to see the messy knots behind the cloth. So yeah, it's about that.
Yep.
Great, great.
Yes.
Cool. Harshna, are you done?
Yes. Thank you so much for answering my question.
No problem. Thank you.
Great. Athar, next you. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. So I had a question, but it's not related to the hackathon. It's more related to career and that stuff. So considering the global economic situation we are heading towards, I just wanted to know what type of company should we aim to join? Should it be a bootstrap startup, or should it be a funded startup, or should it be, a MNC? So I just wanted to know your thoughts, and I also wanted to know, are tech jobs recession proof, or are they vulnerable to recession?
यार सब फालतू चीजें, रिसेशन वगैरह कौन सा जॉब है, सब छोड़ो. जस्ट फोकस ऑन लाइक upskilling yourself. If you are interested in front end, have clear understanding about HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Recession सब गया बाद में. If you know that thing, you will find a job. That's my guarantee. Just focus on those things. What someone needs is you should be able to build a website, right? Again, I'm talking in front end perspective. If you talk about backend, all someone needs it, you should be able to set up a database and build APIs and then give data to the front end. That's all what matters. If you are able to, like, again, just to summarize, if you are able to speak clearly, if you are able to write clearly, if you are able to do the work that you are given, doesn't have to be on deadline and stuff. Because I said, like, you should be able to like communicate clearly. It's all about agar nahi ho pa raha, just let people know. You should be able to do the work. If you are able to do that, just do two things, you will always find a job. And it doesn't matter like where you should apply, body companies mein, choti companies mein, bootstrap or other stuff. Your target is you want a job. Of course, money is there. You want the money, that's there. But the target initially should be you land up in a job where the work is good and the people are good, and you are able to work on thing that you like, so that as a side effect, you level up in the thing that you like. That's all. You should be able to work on the thing. That's it. Because practice karte rahoge, so you will become better. So keep interviewing at different places. Now, generally in a very big company, the workload would be less. Now that's a fact. It might be like if it's a company like Infosys and all, the work would be less and bad as well. So there are these things, but I won't like stereotype them. Try to apply at different companies, go through the interview process. Interview processes tell you a lot about like how the company is, how the work is going to be, how the team is going to be. Try to gauge the person who is interviewing. Is that the person you would like to work with? Is that the person you like to talk to, techie things and other things also? Is that the person you learn something from during the interview process? All those things, try to have a note of it. And then of course, like, have a look at their work. Is that something you want to do in your career? Is that something you are interested in at this point? You don't have to stick to one thing in your career, so it's not long term. But is that the thing you like doing right now and want to focus right now? If all those things are there, it doesn't matter if it's bootstrapped or VC funded. Don't think about things key. it's bootstrap, it might get closed in a year or two. If it's VC funded, there might be a lot of interventions from VCs and all those things. It's nothing, all those things don't matter when you're starting, especially, and even after also. Just focus on yourself. Your aim is to upskill yourself, learn along with good people while getting some money. That's all. Focus on that.
Great.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Ritik, you can go next.
Hi Kushagra, love your side projects by the way. I also like to build mostly for the fun. But my question is like down the line, sometime like in the future I would like to build a product that users should ready to pay for. So what advice would you give someone like you?
I mean, the only advice is there, if you want someone to pay for what you build, you should be able to solve something for them. For example, right now, if I want to handle my finance, I will probably open an Excel file. I'll try to put things, formulas and sums, वो सब डालूंगा, then try to build everything on my own. So that takes time when I do it manually in an Excel file. If you're able to build a software that minimizes my time there, and also like so basically I reduce my time which I had to put earlier. You fix that, and then maybe you give additional tools around that, so I can manage other stuff also, which I was scared to do when I was doing things manually. And then you can later make some suggestions also on how to fix issues, like first of all, like see issues in my finance and fix those and make suggestions around that. So you're basically giving some value to me, like you're reducing my effort, you're reducing my time, you're giving me suggestions to become better, like level up for myself. So that's where I see value, and I would be ready to pay it. So have a practical problem, like I said before also. If you're fixing something, better make sure it's a practical problem, people have it. And then if you are able to solve it well, then it comes to your execution part. If you're actually able to solve that problem, try to like gauge it with few initial people. Try to have them use your thing that you built like a MVP, not like full-fledged perfect product and then test it with others. Build something very like crude, raw, unpolished. Just have the basic viable product. Try to test it with others. If you see it's solving things for them, if they are happy using that minimum viable product also, that's when you can be sure key when you actually turn it into a full-fledged product with all the polishing and stuff, people would be there who will pay for it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Pratim, yeah.
Hello, sir. It's actually not a hackathon related question. I just wanted to ask that should a beginner learn Redux? I mean, a few days ago, the creator of Redux, Dan Abramov, tweeted that you don't need to learn Redux. So I was actually confused whether to learn it or not. It's a React-based library for managing the queries coming from the clients.
See, like I said, nothing goes in waste. If you learn something, it will be useful. If let's say finally Redux turns out to be a bad thing, you should not use it. If you learn Redux still, you would at least come to know what are the bad parts of Redux. तो वो गलतियां तुम कभी फिर अपने products में नहीं करोगे. Let's say you later, after 3-4 years, you are building a library for state management. You would never make the same mistakes which Redux did, right? So for that, you should know what Redux is doing badly. What are the bad parts of it? तो कितना ही टाइम जाएगा, 2-3 दिन लगा के Redux सीख लो, कुछ knowledge ही मिलेगी. Like it would benefit you. So don't think about these things, ki what to learn, what not to. Try to go with the flow. Try to build products. उसके लिए जो सीखना पड़े, like learn that. Let's say if you build a side project with React for the first time, try to build a side project with Vue the next time. Third wala Svelte mein kar lo. So that ways you build 3 products, which was your main aim. You want to build stuff. Nobody cares if you are building things in React and Vue. First of all, if you really want to solve problems going forward in your career, all you want to do is make something working for others, which they can get value from. So React mein banao, Vue mein banao, doesn't really matter. What you want to do is understand the stuff around you, right? So make side project in different frameworks. Use different state management libraries in each of your frameworks. So like each of the side project. So at the end of, let's say, 10 side products, you are probably aware about 2-3 state management library, 2-3 frameworks. You know what are the bad things for you specifically. कि मुझे इसमें ये अच्छा लगा, मुझे उसमें वो अच्छा लगा. So you can blog about it, tell others also कि these are the good parts of a certain framework. Nothing is good or bad, just to be clear. It's all about like what is suitable for you at that point of whatever you're working on. It might be that for the project you are working today, React might be the best fit. It might be that for just for you, but later after 2-3 years, Vue might be the best fit. So nothing is good or bad. Learn everything. Just spend time and like make a list of things you want to learn. Sort them according to your preference. कि मुझे CSS में ज़्यादा मजा आता है, put that at top so that you don't work on the boring things. You don't learn the boring things first. Just sort them. Keep learning stuff. Build side projects. Don't stick with one thing. You'll gain knowledge about everything. You'll become a better developer. That's what you want. You don't want to be a React developer. You want to be a web developer.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Harshna. Guys, we are past 5 minutes our schedule. So if anyone wants to ask the last question after Harshna, please do raise the hand. After that, we'll wrap this up. Yeah, go on, Harshna.
Just to follow up to the current question, so if you made a product and you realize that something's wrong, like it's not good, like due to any reason, so what would you do? Would you like start with a clean state, or would you refactor the current code?
So when you say something is wrong, it depends. Like, what do you mean when you say wrong? Is it about the code quality? Is it about a functionality breaking, or is it about the product not solving anything for the user? What?
It could be the approach, or it could be the code quality.
Again, like it depends on a lot of things. For a hackathon, I won't care about anything. As long as it's solving something for the user, that should be enough. It should be working. But again, like for let's say in a professional setup, if something is not working, I'll try to spend time. First of all, if I can just refactor a few things around in the same approach and make it better or working if it's broken already. Not spend too much time on it, because if you're spending too much time on the current setup and still it's bad, or if it's broken, you're not able to fix it, then it means that thing needs refactor. And if it's like it's taking a lot of time, then it probably needs to be rewritten, not just a refactor. It needs to be done from scratch. So it depends on a lot of things. Like you have to also see whatever you are into, does it have a deadline or not? Can you just like spend random time on it, rewriting it? Because rewriting most of the times is a bad idea. You should always refactor. Rewriting takes up a lot of time. If you think it's going to be 1 month, it's going to be 3 months, maybe more. So you have to keep a check on that. Give everything a shot, give refactor a shot, but be wary about your time, how much you're spending, and then take an informed decision about keeping other factors in mind also about deadlines and stuff, and then like choose rewriting if need be.
That answers my question. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Let's wrap this up then. Thank you so much, Kushagra. I took a lot of takeaways, and I'm pretty sure all the participants did too. So thank you so much for being here on a Saturday morning and answering all of our questions so patiently.
But yeah, I had to wake up early on a Saturday morning. I don't usually wake up early.
Yeah,
but I'm glad I did. Thanks for inviting me. This was really fun. I like chatting with all of you. And if you have like more questions, it doesn't have to stop here. You can like DM me on Twitter if you want to, or just like ask publicly. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions.
Yeah, as you can see, guys, I shared his Twitter link before. He is very active and he is very supportive for everyone, especially who are in the beginning of their career. So please do reach him out. Do not hesitate.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kushagra. There is one more judge, as you can see, Ben Wilson. We'll be discussing similar questions with him tonight at 8 p.m. Everyone, please do join. At the end of that, I'll share details on how the Loom video you need to be creating to submit your projects. It's again a huge proof of work for you. The reason we are keeping videos is that you learn it right now, and that is going to change everything for you. We can promise that as soon as you upload the working prototypes or anything that you worked on your project, it is a proof of work and it is going to stick with your profile. And every recruiter can see that. That will add like a lot of value to your profiles. So please be there. Even if you had to skip because of any reason, we will definitely upload the recording. Please go through that. Cool. I'll get to the chat once. Awesome. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'll stop recording now. We'll see you everyone tonight. You can leave the thing now. Bye.
Bye-bye. Best of luck, everyone.
Thanks for arranging this site.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Archana. Glad you're liking this.
It was really productive.
Yeah. Hope very glad that you found that.